This is section 713. We're going to add and subtract rational expressions. And so at the end of this lesson, you're going to be able to add a rational expression and subtract a rational expression. Now, some quick review. When we're adding and subtracting fractions, we need to make sure the denominator is the same. So once it's the same, you can combine it into one fraction so the denominator stays the same, and you add the tops together. So this becomes 6/9, which is, you can reduce into 2/3. For this next one, the denominator needs to be the same. So then you can combine it into one fraction, and you can combine the tops together. Now nothing reduces, and so that's going to be our answer. Now on this one over here, if I were to look at this as 10 times 20, like I've just factored that 20 a little bit, the idea of finding the common denominator is to say, okay, what factors are missing? Well, they both have a 10. This one doesn't have a 2. This one has a 2, but this one doesn't. And so we have to make sure they have the same factors for us to be able to combine that together. So we multiply top and bottom by 2. So now this becomes 2/20 plus 2/20. Now I can combine them together into 4/20. And now that reduces into, let's see, by 4, so by 2, so then by 2 again. And so we get our answer. Now, why did I review here? Well, when it comes to an algebraic expression like this, we need to make sure that the denominators are the same for us to be able to add them together. So we check, yes, they are the same, so I can combine them together. Now the denominators always stay the same when you're adding or subtracting. Now sometimes it could reduce, but how do we check that if it reduces? Remember, it's the factors that reduce. So A times C, -42, factors that add to +1, so 7 and -6. So I'm going to factor that. I'm going to do that off to the side here. So I have 2x squared plus 7x minus 6x minus 21. Factored by grouping, there's an x in common. There's a -3 in common. So then that's going to be 2x plus 7 times x minus 3. Perfect. Those cancel out, so my answer is going to be 1/x minus 3. Now the question is, how do I know that it's going to reduce? The only way to find out is by factoring. So for this next one, the denominators need to make sure that they're the same. They are, so I can combine them together. So I can combine them into one fraction. And then the tops, it's 5x minus 15. So I don't know if it reduces. Let's see. The top, I can factor out a 5. And on the bottom, again, A times C. Factors that add to -2, so -3 and +1. So I can break it up. Factor by grouping, factor out an x. Factor out a 1. So that's going to be x minus 3 and x plus 1. So that's going to be 5/x plus 1. Now in this next example, if you notice, the denominators are not the same. They both have a factor of this 3x plus 1, but it's missing x minus 5. So I need to multiply the top and the bottom by x minus 5. Now they both have those same factors. Now it's always a good idea to rewrite it, right? So just rewrite it. Spend the step to rewrite it. Spending that extra step to help you visualize it, even though it takes 10 seconds to do it, it just makes life easier. It makes our brains able to visualize what's going on a little bit better. So that's okay. Okay, so now I need to add them together. Well, I can distribute this together. So now that becomes x squared minus 5x, and then plus 2x squared minus 2, all over, and on the bottom, x minus 5 and 3x plus 1. So see the x squared and 2x squared, that becomes 3x squared, then minus 5x, and then minus 2. Now I'm going to see if I can factor that. I'm not going to write the bottom just yet because maybe something's going to reduce. So a times c, negative 6. Factors of negative 6 that give me negative 5. That's going to be negative 6 and positive 1. So 3x squared minus 6x plus 1x minus 2. So I can factor out 3x. And then I can factor out a 1. So I get 3x plus 1 times x minus 2. So that means on the top, it's 3x plus 1 times x minus 2, all over x minus 5 times 3x plus 1. Those will reduce. So my final answer is that. Now again, the only way that I thought that something might reduce, I just tried it out. And that's what you're going to have to do. Now I'm not going to go all the way for this one, but I just want to show the beginning steps of x plus 3, x plus 3. This has x minus 3. So we need to find the common denominator. So now, distribute 9 minus 3x plus 2x squared minus 6x all over that. So that's adding them together, and you have to first find the common denominator to do that. So what did we learn today? We talked about adding and subtracting rational expressions. Just a reminder, to add and subtract, the denominators have to be the same. This does conclude our lesson. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments.